want you to zoom out and imagine that you are in a movie theater and on the screen starts playing the movie of you, the movie of your life, starring you. Main character is happening, and so you get to sit here and you get to watch life moving forward. And like you sometimes do in a movie, have you seen a movie like this? They'll show like the flash forward. It's like you don't quite know when it was, but it's like now you know, oh, you know how it ends, and then now we're going back and filling in the details. So you know how the movie ends, and it's clear, the protagonist, you get the health that you're seeking on the journey. You overcome the barriers and the obstacles. You find happiness, inner peace, and contentment. And you live happily ever after. I give you a cheers to it. But now we are back at the beginning, in the present. And we got to fill in the gaps. What is the space between here and there? What is the hero's journey that you are taking to get it? This is what I try to help you out with. This is what I try to help everybody out with in fasting space. Is fasting part of the journey that can help you on that path? I would say the potential is there. The potential is here with us right now. If you're in a fasting space, grab a coffee or tea, settle in, grab a water. If you are exercising and listening to this session, absolutely. A water over a sports drink, probably going to help you out on the journey. So, maybe in the hero's journey, are we walking through some type of archetypal scene? The protagonist has been stuck in a difficult place, and it's like, you know, in a moment where it's like things don't always go according to plan, right? In the script, do you turn off the movie? It's like, no. This is bringing us to a place where it's like you want to know, like, man, look at all the adversity. Many times, like, a film is set up this way. Adversity has happened. How does our hero navigate it? How do they, against all odds, does it ever feel like that in your life? Find the path, the narrow way, climb the mountain. Many plot twists make it interesting. Sometimes we have mused in the past as we're talking about our journey toward better health. Don't we wish it was just a straight line up the mountain or a gondola? I remember that. Take the gondola to the top. We had one trip like that on our North Carolina trip. We did some arduous hiking, like around and around up to get there. But then Mount Mitchell, you can basically just drive right to the top. We got maybe 0.2 miles up from the parking lot to the lookout. Maybe it has the best view. Wasn't quite as exciting though, after instead of hiking for half the day to get up to it. A big thing in a lot of movies, figuring out, right? Who is the actual enemy? Can you think of that? Who is the antagonist in it? Sometimes it's not clear. It's like we're trying to figure it out. You can imagine a session that we are having, a struggle. We say, is the struggle of food, right? Is the struggle sugar? Is the struggle carbs? Say, it's a slow metabolism. Much more to come on that. I'm putting together a talk on that. Increasingly, what I see, tell me if this is your experience, increasingly, do you come to see that the real antagonist is the protagonist? It's us. We're having a wrestling match with ourselves. Is this the hero's journey? Overcoming the past, the history, the habits, the patterns, breaking out of old cycles that aren't serving us. Is this the true hero's journey that we are on? This is what this book would suggest. We're right at the pinnacle of the mountain, the very last pages. I keep saying that they have packed in so many good thoughts in the last few pages of this book. The mountain is you. The mountain is me too. The mountain is anybody who is trying to embark on a hero's journey and move forward in health in the midst of a difficult culture that has stacked the deck against us with food that isn't even food by some definitions, that no human beings ever had to deal with in the past. And now we're here in this modern moment with all the blessings of it. We can be sitting here using technology to connect across vast distances, but we have to also navigate the aisles of the supermarket where people are trying to sell us things that aren't good for us. As opposed to the past where it's like just some things grew and we went and got them and ate them. At least in one way, that would be easier. This book that we're looking at, going to share a little passage with you. It's about self-sabotage. It's getting deep into psychology and the mindset. Why do we make the decisions that we do? And how do we give ourselves every tool to help us? And I thought one of the most helpful things has been this idea that self-sabotage is not some sort of error. It's not even wrong in some sort of thing. It is just a misguided coping mechanism. It's something that maybe even wasn't misguided. It's something that really did help at a point in time, but it is not helping us now. Or maybe it is helping us in some way, but there are side effects that we don't like, but we can see. And especially food is a sort of place that can do it. We dove deep into that yesterday in that beautiful poem on a diet. Food is something that can soothe. Remember those words, the ruth of soups and the balm. It's like a healing, okay? That it can bring, at least temporarily, some calming to some anxiety, some comfort to a stress, right? But we are sitting in this space now. The hero is like, we got to break out of that space. Very important. The scene there's one of these, I watched a Star Trek movie once where like the old Star Trek kind of crashed with the new Star Trek. It was like Captain Picard and William Shatner, Kirk. They like meet in some time warp in space. And Kirk had been like trapped in this time warp, but it's like the space was like, I don't know, it's like it creates this fantasy world of like whatever you want and you can live in it. You have anything you want. And it was like, and he's got to break out of it. Like, it's not real. Okay, like bad stuff's happening. You got to come help me save the, galaxy or whatever. I was like, it'd be very hard. Guy's like, this is pretty nice. I don't really want to go. Right? Doesn't it feel like that? It's like jumping into a cold pool. This is part of the hero's journey. He was a real hero in that movie, right? He broke out of the thing, start to see reality again. Oh, I've been stuck in this space, comfort trap. What was that book that I put on my list? Comfort Crisis. We have a comfort crisis. The trouble with it, comfort, very appealing, works in the short term, but then it comes around and it doesn't really help us to be strong, Doesn't build a mindset of resilience. And staying in a place of total comfort always is not the hero's journey, right? Hero's journey in a film, in a book, in any sort of good story that we might be watching on the screen right now. This is the idea I want to get to us. Picture ourselves in it. Where is the place where we take a step, where we step out of that space and say, you know what, this has been comfortable, this has been good, but like, let's move in this direction and actually make the move, the plot twist where the hero gets it. And they're like, oh, you see, and this is where I bring in a fasting space to it, if this is the type of thing that you are called to, because people in society would say, well, fasting is not the comfortable choice. And from a certain point of view, I won't argue with it, right? I won't argue. But I will say, let's open our mind a little bit, because over time, fasting is a practice. We see comfort itself doesn't necessarily stay comfortable, does it? Because it can also be frustrating, because we see that it can also be a hindrance. Fasting, the type of thing, just like many good things, you say, take a medicine, doesn't always taste good, but might help the body. But I'll tell you, fasting can actually come to feel comfortable. This is like the super unlock. And what I really want for people, there's a barrier to entry. Hunger is a big part of that barrier. Stepping out of a comfort space, big part of the barrier. But have you experienced this, that as you practice it, that you get more in control of it? You have more familiarity with it. Doesn't mean that it's all the time, and it's not like you even ever, I don't know, reach some perfect state where things are always easy. I don't say that. But definitely a difference between easy and comfortable. I think I have definitely found a space where I would say fasting can feel comfortable. And in other points where you say, I still feel some hunger, which maybe we don't describe as completely comfortable. We say, or completely easy, but even some comfort in there where I feel like, no, I can feel digestive system shutting down a bit, and that can feel comfortable. Very interesting space, to find. And I say it's a space, an attention to explore. And that would be the part of the journey. If you're starting to lean into a space like that, you say, then you're not feeling overwhelmed by it. Now you can start taking steps forward through it, opening up the space. And to me, this is the spot in the middle of a film where it's like the hero is starting to put the pieces together. They're starting to believe. Think of like Luke Skywalker is like spending the beginning, of that first Star Wars, like running away from it. He's like, I am not this person. Like, this is pointless. You've got to find somebody else. Yoda is like coming along and being like, helping the journey, help him through it, help him to see it. This is what I hope we are having an experience like. Try to help you come along on your journey to accomplish it. Every hero in a story's got a moment, right? Isn't there a moment in the film when the change happens, the mental shift? See, isn't that as much as anything? It's not about the external circumstances so much. Like if we look in Star Wars, it's not like something changed in the Empire and Luke finally decided to do it. It's an internal shift where he realizes, like, this is who I am. And this is the type of thing, of course, that we need, the mindset shift. Maybe it's like this book suggests, enough is enough. We hit that point. Sometimes that looks like rock bottom, like this cannot go on. Sometimes it's just a logical mental decision where we say, no, we are going in a different direction and you are not going to stop me. And we are going to approach things with a human intensity that is going to demolish our barriers. And this is the point that I want to help people gently but courageously find the shift that helps to propel things forward. I always say, this book says most people change at rock bottom. And I think it's been true in my life. I tend to operate that way. Wait till I just can't take it anymore, and then make the move. But it doesn't have to be that way. I don't want it to be that way for anybody. I say we got to be thoughtful to say we're really going to dial in the mindset and make a move before that point. I think thinking about the middle of the film, you already know the exposition, you know the character development, right? You know yourself. Now we know the ending of it. There's this whole middle when we think about it. And the movie I was thinking about it is like Rocky. It's at least one of them. I haven't watched in a long time. One of these Rocky movies, like Rocky is going to fight like this massive bodybuilder boxer guy from the Soviet Union, I think. And the Soviet guy, for some reason, has all the high-tech gadgets and is all this funding. And I don't know why the American boxer has nothing, and they just basically throw him out in the woods. And but he's carrying like logs around, and but he's going through a period of training for it. You see in the movie an extreme discipline. He gets the motivation. He has the shift. He goes through a period. It's a transformational period, right? He's transforming himself into like this most powerful fighter, right? Many things are like that, famous scripts. This is the type of thing. If we've made the mindset shift, if we're seeing the film developing, we say we are going through the process like the butterfly in the cocoon. We've got that transformational period. Looks like doing the work. We've caught the vision. We are dialing in. And every day, like Atomic Habits says, 1% better every day. We're not trying to win the whole life battle in one day or 1 week, but we are bringing in the mindset to build the skills to do it. You say, I like people to have a 3-year plan. 3-year plan taking so much pressure off. And it's like year 1, it's like we're building the foundation of it. And then year 2 is like, man, we are really dialing in and we are honing the skills. And year 3, we have built up the momentum and we are powering through it. And building, the compounding process, Atomic Habits showing us, like health habits, just like finances, can compound. And this is what we really want. But a compounding process, it takes a little bit of time. And that is okay. I was reading an article the other day about a gentleman. He was like 36. He said, my lifelong dream was always to go to medical school. But he never did it. And he's like, now it's too late. And the author was saying, like, too late for what? Like, he's like, it's going to take 7 years, though. And by that time, I'm going to be, 42 and whatever. And the guy was like, how old are you going to be if you don't do it? The same, right? Obviously. Fasting, to me, today at least, the mindset, maybe this is helpful for you. Have you watched a Rocky movie? Have you just seen the resilience of the character, right? This is the big point. Not always the biggest, not necessarily the strongest, but definitely the most resilient, right? You can hammer on this guy for 14 rounds, and then he's just going to keep coming back. And to me, a fasting space is the way I would suggest approaching it, gently, thoughtfully, not any longer than you want it to be, but it is a training program of resilience, much better than getting boxed around in a ring, okay? A gentle resilience program, training the specific type of resilience that is helpful for someone who is trying to lose weight and improve insulin resistance. A training program to train the body to burn the energy within it instead of the energy that is coming in. It takes practice to train that. And so this is the thing to train. This is the type of resilience that can bring a type of metabolic strength that is exactly the type of thing that is needed in this modern moment. So let's acknowledge this middle part of the movie. We're not at the ending yet. We're in this middle zone. We are making our way through it. Acknowledge, right, in your life as we're watching it on the screen mentally, right? We say, oh, the character right now, they're in the difficult part. Right? This is the hard part, the middle, where it's like the challenges are coming and we are stepping over and struggling and working with them. And so this brings us really to the core question, which is like, what does your character do at this point in the movie? And so that's the open question. That is the golden question at this moment. What does the hero do in this moment, this scene of your life? Maybe it's this day, this season. And I just open that up. Maybe it could be something as simple as this. Grab a tea and flow through an extra space and lean into it. Maybe it's diving in on the exercise, the extra exercise they weren't going to do, but you're going to do it. You're doing it, right? Give yourself a pep talk. Maybe it's bringing the two together in a gentle fashion and leaning into it. So you say, we've unlocked that fasting space. All the other energy is cleared out. And now we are putting a load, a resistance on the body, and the body has to respond to that by releasing the energy within it to power that space. That is a hero move. It is a hero move. Listen to how Brianna Weiss describes it. If you listen to the stories of many of the most successful people in the world, they often begin with unimaginable hardship. In the face of the most unlikely situations, these people are forced into action. Comfort and complacency is not an option. They realize they must become the heroes of their own lives and the creators of their own future. And then they do it. And this is my call to us, that we do it, that we make the decision to do it. And hopefully, I say, we are not like the first part of this sentence. Hopefully we are not facing unimaginable hardship. But when we look at it and we see it and we think of stories of people who have that, that can be an inspiration to us. And to say, thank God that we do not have some other challenge. And isn't it enough with the challenges that we have? And I would say never forced. I don't like things forced into action, but sometimes people are forced into action by life. Wherever we are at, maybe we are being forced into some action. But hopefully what we say, voluntarily chosen, that's what I want. To take ideas like this, powerful mindsets of incredible success and accomplishment, archetypal stories of the hero's journey, bring them into our life, see the potential. Look at the situation that we have like the hero facing it in a movie, to vision it. I'm a big believer. Can you create a vision of what it looks like? You have a health goal. It's a weight loss goal. It is something like that. You say, can you actually see it? And can you start to envision the steps between it, like you would see if you were writing it on the screen as a script? How would the script go? And can you start to enact that? I think it's a very, very powerful process. Two paragraphs I wanted to share with you. This is the first paragraph. Here's the second one, which I struggled with a little bit. Let's struggle with it. She says, at the end of your life, your purpose will not be defined by how you struggled, what circumstances you were in, or what you were supposed to do, but how you responded in the face of adversity, who you were to the people in your life, and what you did each day that slowly, in its own unique way, changed the course of humanity. Now, I struggled with that. I don't know how it lands for you, but I do have some thoughts about it, for sure. Hey, I like this. I can stay here or be a day closer to my goal. That is absolutely the case. Maybe that's as much as we can possibly do in one day. I love that. Yeah, a few things that I would comment on this last thing. I think it is really good. I decided to share it because I do like it, but it is a tough little passage. You know, at the very premise, your purpose, like, to me, I'm like, I don't know, like, trying to think, like, what is our purpose? Like, and then tying it into a thing like, oh, we're going to change the course of humanity. These are like big things. And I'm like, sometimes I think like our purpose might be like, something less grand than that. And isn't it enough just to, be here, and just the fact that we have value apart from accomplishing anything? That's like a thought that comes in. And so I don't want anyone to feel pressured by that. But I do like the idea. It's not about how we struggle, not about anything else. Our circumstances. I really like this point. Who were we to the people in our life? See, I'm a huge lover of that. And I do like this last line. What did we do each day that in its own unique way changed the course of humanity? So, like, the way I would connect that in is from this session just the other day. Did I title it "Your Health Really Matters"? Like, I all capitalize really, like it really matters. The big idea there, sometimes I read a course like this on changing the course of humanity, and I'm like, really? Like, I don't think that I am doing that, and I think most people, are we really doing that? I can see a thing like that and say, well, it would be nice, like if it was good. But the thing that our talk last week said was like, we don't see how interconnected we are, both with each other and with the world and this existence. Just like the bee doesn't understand that it's intrinsic to the life of a flower. It's just trying to eat some stuff, And so can be more going on, and that actually it really does matter. And so when we look at the world and we look at the dysfunction of it and the conflict and stress, and we can feel powerless by it, that to me, the antidote to that is to focus internally first, to make sure that we are healthy. And it's because our health really matters. Our health is connected to the broader health of these things. Say, well, I want the world to be healthier. I want other people to be healthier, but we can't change other people. We can only change ourselves. And isn't that hard enough? It certainly is. Does actually changing ourselves, does going on this hero's journey, look how they're connecting these two ideas, does going on our hero's journey, accomplishing our thing, having better health, does that actually change the course of humanity in our own unique way, like they say? I think it does. And whether it does or it doesn't, who is to say exactly? Maybe we find out someday. But I think it's a helpful idea, even just to live as if it were true, even if you don't believe it. I think it's likely that it does. My just belief would be that it really does. I think it does matter. This would be the ultimate ending of the movie. They say here, at the end of our life, what are the things we're really trying to accomplish? What would be the good end of the story that we can see coming? And then now we are here in that critical space. We're going to do the work to enact it. I hope you find this to be a helpful thought. I found it to be an encouraging way to think about it. I am going to take some time before I dive right into the next things on my to-do list and really, do some personal diving in on this. What does it look like if I see the end of it? The end of the story, what do we want that to look like? Weren't we thinking about this idea? Was it just with the poem yesterday? Living a long life, living to a very old age where we can look back and just say, like, hey, that was good. Living without regrets. How do we help ourselves to have that experience? The health experience really about it, right? trying to keep ourselves as healthy as possible to avoid illnesses of all kinds, so that we are able to flow through this entire story, the scene, the movie, as few health barriers as possible. We have enough other barriers to deal with, don't we? Try to take the health ones off the table, at least limit the probability. There's only a certain probability, you know. We're trying to stack the odds in our favor. Try to create the vision and see it. Sometimes I like that, looking off to the mountains, the big picture goal. Sometimes it's enough to forget about that. Just look at one day, wherever you're feeling right now. One day closer to the goal. That's probably the place to stick most of the time. Set the big vision, have some big visioning days. Most of the days, like Pat is saying. One day closer to the goal. Are we going to stay here? Are we going to dial in? How do we just take this one step? I know I can get overwhelmed by the future too. It's like, oh, there's so much to do, so far away from where we want to be. It's like, look, but when we start to see that vision, we can see the way to get there. It's going to take however many days, that's however many steps. We've really got to dial in the process on one day first. It's like, how do we take one step in this day that is actually moving us the needle toward it, and then we start replicating and building it. So now we're starting to see the vision. Now the days, we start stacking up the successes and then flowing through that sort of space to where we are ultimately finding our success, the climax of the film. Excuse me. Really nice to share this space with you. I hope you have a beautiful day. And I will look forward to seeing you back here soon. I'm doing a talk. Wrote half of it yesterday. Hopefully we'll finish it. We'll see if we get it out for tomorrow. On a follow-up study that was released after I published my research that I presented last week on overcoming insulin resistance, using the situation with insulin, using people struggling with type 2 diabetes as a model to show just how the fasting space really works. A follow-up paper I'm going to present, landmark randomized controlled clinical trial done in Austria, took basically a light version of my protocol. It's like watered down fasting, intermittent fasting, 16/8, only 3 days a week. But they took that protocol and did the same sort of thing that I did, only 3 months instead of 6. But they have a dose response to it. It really helped people, just like my study helped people in a very profound way. And so, but I found a nugget of information in it, so excited to share it. I had forgotten about it. Oh, man. I will leave you in suspense. How about that? Haha. You're going to have to come and watch. Looking forward to it. Have a beautiful day. See you back here on Fasting Space soon. More thinking, more deep ideas, and grab a mug and join us. Hey, if you are here along, I send out a free mug to viewers. You want to grab a coffee or tea with us in a simple fasting mug, help you dial in on the thinking throughout the day. To me is a tangible thing. Send me an email, headsimplefasting.com, and DRZ, Dr. Z, at simplefasting.com. Shoot me an email. Happy to do that. And hey, I want this to be your show, your session. Are there topics and ideas that you want covered? Are there questions you have? Send them. I do a deep dive, especially if I don't know the answer. I try to dive deep so I can answer every question people have about moving forward, and then a lot of the thinking that we're doing. How do we build the toolkit to walk forward on this journey in a powerful way? Have a great day, everybody.